Let's talk about the common causes behind duplicate content. Though the causes behind duplicate content could be endless, but we can broadly categorize them into two main categories, and they are technical causes and non technical causes. Let's talk about the technical causes first. Number one, URL structure. You might be wondering how URL structure can cause duplicate content issue. Well, to understand this, you have to understand first that in general, a URL is considered as a distinct location on internet, and even a tiny difference between two URL, let's say a URL ending with a backslash and a URL not ending with backslash, will be treated as two different URL. For example, a URL, let's say www.example.com/a, and other URL www.example.com/a backslash will be treated as two different URL, though logically they are one URL, but technically they are two different URL if none of them is canonicalized back to original version of URL. That's why it is very important that your URL structure should be consistent and you should use canonical tag appropriately within your website. The other way URL structure can cause duplicate content issue is URL parameters. URL parameters are special ID that appears in a URL after question mark. They generally used to keep track of any campaign performance, like the paid campaign performance. Number two, product variant. Product variant are the most common reason behind duplicate content in e-commerce website, or especially in case of manufacturer where they have limited number of product and they want to display every single variant as an independent product under their category basis. For example, a watch with same specification, same feature available in four different color is logically one watch with four variants, let's say black, white, yellow, and purple, but physically they are four different products. That's why it's make more sense to have a consolidated product base, and every single variant should be merged under one product page by allowing user to browse through or scroll through and allow them to pick their favorite version through that single product page only. This will not only enhance the user experience, but it will also improve the it will also eliminate the duplicate content issue within your website. Number three, facet navigation. This is one other most common reason behind duplicate content in large site and in e-commerce website. Facet navigation allow you to narrow down or allow user to narrow down their search based on the selection. When there are too many products on a category pages, facet navigation allow user to narrow down their search based on product type, brand name, colors, and many other filters. Though filters versions are just subset of category URL. You should always make sure that all filter versions should be canonicalized back to the main category URL to avoid duplicate content issue. Or if you find enough search volume and enough number of product under any filter version of URL, you can expand the content on that particular filter version of URL to make it unique, and to optimize it and to eliminate the duplicate content issue. Number four, tag and category pages. Tag and category pages once again are just subset of your blog page, and you should always use no index tag on tag and category pages to eliminate duplicate content issue. However, if you want to optimize your blog category page, you can expand the content on your category pages to eliminate the duplicate content issue. Number five, printer friendly URL. If you have printer friendly version of URL along with normal URL, then you should make sure to canonicalize printer friendly version to normal version to avoid duplicate content issue. Number six, staging environment. You should always make sure that your staging environment is being blocked from search engine crawling to avoid duplicate content issue. Number six, search result pages. Once again, search result pages are just subset of your category, home, and other pages. You should always make sure to no index all of your search result pages to avoid duplicate content issue. Now, let's talk about some of the non-technical causes of duplicate content. Number one, boilerplate content. Boilerplate content refers to a standard text, copy, or document that will use over and over again without making any changes to original description. For instance, instead of including a large copyright text at the bottom of every page, you may consider including a very brief description with a link to a page with view more detail. Number two, stubs or placeholder. User don't like to see empty pages or placeholders. So make sure to not publish placeholder until you have content ready. Or if you are publishing placeholder or if you are creating placeholder, make sure to no index them using no index tag. Number three, syndicated content. We syndicate content to increase the reach and effectiveness of original content. However, when you publish content on other site, Google may pick their preferred version of URL against any user query which may or may not be your preferred version of URL. So make sure to include the link to original content in the syndicated version, or ask the syndicated sites or the sites which are publishing syndicated materials to place in no index so that Google may ignore indexing their version of URL. Number four, affiliate site. And this is one of the most common reason behind duplicate content for e-commerce website, where their affiliate partners are selling their content without even asking merchant, without even informing the merchant sites. Being a merchant, you should get hold on your affiliate partner. You should ask them to immediately take down your content or give you enough or appropriate credit if they are using your content in a right manner. Number four, scrapper stealing your content. To protect your content from scrapper, make sure to use DMCA complaint to report against scrapper sites. Google will remove scrapper site from index after careful examination of your request. Number five, deliberate duplicate content. This is the most dangerous type of duplicate content. Keep in mind, though duplicate content doesn't trigger any content penalty, but in rare cases, when Google Observe that you have a lot of duplicate content in your website with a deceptive intent or to manipulate search engine ranking. It will cause removal of your website from Google Index. That's how dangerous it could be. So always make sure to avoid duplicate content in your website to optimize your website for search engine result basis or to improve your ranking in search engine result basis. Overall, unique content is what Google loves and is what Google care about the most because unique content in general is a content that is only available or exclusively available on your website and provide additional information about a topic that other site doesn't cover, which in turn add distinct value to your user experience and Google value that too. So you should always consider minimizing duplicate content within your website, regardless of thinking about Google penalty or not.